State funds will enable Cape Cod Community College to launch an airplane mechanic program. The Roads Committee will continue work on finding a way to pay for private road repairs and find out about renovations being made at Barnstable Municipal Airport. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, July 31st, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. Cape Cod Community College will be able to continue with plans to establish a new airport mechanic program despite the governor's veto of the funding earlier this month. The state legislature overrode the governor's veto yesterday, reinstating the $1.95 million to fund the program in the state budget. The money will pay to acquire and renovate space at the Barnstable Municipal Airport. Cape Cod Community College officials expect about 65 students to participate in the program's first year. Work continues on funding for private road repairs. The Town Council Roads Subcommittee is set to meet on Monday evening and will hear from local legislative delegation. Town Engineer Roger Parsons is scheduled to discuss the town's temporary repairs to roads policy, and the group will review the recent discussion with the Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee. The Roads Subcommittee meets Monday evening at 5:30 in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Important infrastructure and service improvements are planned for Barnstable Municipal Airport. Channel 18's Sarah Colvin finds out more with Airport Manager Bud Brialt.
We are here at Barnstable Municipal Airport with Airport Manager Bud Brialt. We've moved to a different location, yes. But off camera I can see the airport and the tower in the distance, and behind us some work is going on. So we're here on the east ramp. Tell me a little bit about what is going on out here.
Good morning, Sarah. And well, we're located on the east ramp of the airport, which is right now we're about maybe 40% into a major reconstruction of this entire ramp. It's over 400,000 square feet and about, I don't know how many acres that is. You do a rapid calculation. It's a large area. We've already just completed, to your left, to your right rather, is phase one was completed about June 29th, which included that portion of the ramp, a portion of our taxiway Bravo. It also included installation of a piece of the main water line, a 16-inch line that goes underneath the airport, which went underneath the ramp, and we had to replace that because it was circa 1911, and we were afraid we'd break it during the construction, so we replaced the pipe. And we also had to put in a portion of a brand new power cable for NSTAR as part of it, because obviously when you build it, you don't want somebody to cut it right away to put in another public utility, if you will. So that delayed us a little bit, cost a little bit more, but we got it in on time, on schedule, on budget. And what you see behind us over here is phase two of the ramp construction project, which will be done probably in about 3 weeks. And then we'll immediately go into phase three and phase four. And by the time we're done, it'll be probably sometime in October, and the entire ramp will be completed and renovated, reconstructed.
Great.
It's a little bit of an inconvenience to our tenants, but we're working around it. We're working with them to make sure that we're providing them with adequate facilities and they're safe. And so in the event of a storm, we'd be able to move their planes around and that type of thing. Also conducted on the east ramp, which we're starting on August 9th, is presidential security operations. When President Obama comes to Martha's Vineyard, we become what's called a gateway airport. And as a gateway airport, anyone who's not on an approved security plan with the Transportation Security Administration must come either here or to an airport in New York to be cleared, and that's right here on the east ramp. So they will taxi in, they have to shut down, we have to inspect their airplanes and the people, and they have to go.
So is that anyone traveling to Martha's Vineyard during the during the time of the president's
private
stay?
Aircraft,
private
essentially.
Aircraft, right.
And corporate, that type of thing. So most of the big guys, if you will, are on approved security plans. They can just go direct under positive air control.
Sure.
Those other ones have to come through here, and they have to go on a flight plan and be flight following with radar and so forth. If they're not, then they're in violation, and all kinds of things can happen.
Now, has anyone been in violation in the years that you've been doing this?
There have been a few. and probably given flight violations, and some of them were probably escorted by fighter aircraft and that type of thing.
Interesting, and probably just for not filling out the right paperwork or
For just
having it,
doing something, I call it doing something dumb.
Exactly, so definitely they want to make sure. Now, do you have to bring on extra staff and especially train people for that, or is that something that our airport staff is trained to do?
We set up a facility in our Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting building, ARF, and TSA agents come in and they man that area for 6 o'clock in the morning, I believe, until 10 o'clock at night for the entire duration of the president's visit.
Sure.
Every day. And then it's because I think last year we brought in around 120 planes came through here, so to do that.
Definitely. So again, getting back to the work that's going on behind us, how long is this expected to take? When are you hoping to wrap up this work?
The east ramp reconstruction should be completed by October, and what you can see behind the east ramp over there in the distance is the solar array that we're installing. That should be completed construction by middle of next month. And we're hoping that by the time that this is done, we may be online with NSTAR and actually generating electricity and putting it into the grid. And when that project is done, it'll be about 20 acres of solar panels, about 7 megawatts of power. And our understanding is that it's certainly the largest on Cape Cod, and probably southeast New England when it's completed.
It's a massive project.
It's huge.
And what I think is amazing about this is it's low visibility. I mean, you can see it when you're out here on the ramp, or probably up in the plains when you go past the access road, because there's 2 sections of the airport that are being used, but otherwise it's not something that everyone is going to see.
Right, and we think it's making good use of land that's available, and why not? I mean, it's not hurting anything, it's not taking anything away from what we want to do at the airport, and yet it's going to generate electricity. It will help us reduce our bills and actually give us some more income.
Great. In terms of other projects going on at the airport, obviously we've got the ramp reconstruction, the solar panels, anything else going on here at the airport?
The east ramp is the major one right now. We temporarily stopped work on the taxiway Alpha project, which is on the other side of the airfield, primarily during the summer because of all the traffic that we have here. There's too much of a disruption, and while JetBlue is in here. So as soon as JetBlue stops coming in this year for the season, on September 9th, we'll probably resume construction on the other side of the airfield. And we're hoping that also will be finished this fall.
Great. Well, Bud, always exciting to come out here to the airport. And I would think that talking about this fall, too, we hear that the Wings of Freedom might be coming back as well?
Yes, Wings of Freedom will be in on September 16th, I think. 17th and 18th. I think those are the 3 days. I may be off by 1 day. But they'll be here on the east ramp as usual. We're thinking of a small ceremony, and also I understand the Cape Cod Young Professionals are having their function again this year, so we may be doing something in conjunction with them. We're still in discussion phases on that. And before we break, I wanted to just point out that JetBlue seems to be doing exceedingly well.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great news.
It's really good news. They're running at a very high occupancy rate, if you will, or load factor.
Great.
Of in excess of 90%.
And there's about 100 seats on that plane,
100
correct?
seats on the plane.
And is that both going to New York and going to
Yes,
Cape Cod? That's
both directions. It's fantastic. So we're extremely happy. Some of the folks at JetBlue are very happy. So we're hoping that the numbers bode well for the future, so we can look for expanded service by length of time during the season, and maybe more than 1 flight a day.
That's right.
So this is a great thing for the area.
Different destinations as well.
That's what we're looking for.
So we love seeing the JetBlue plane here at the airport, and I know that you guys do too, and that's great news.
It's fascinating.
So well used.
And then one of the things I wanted to also point out with the JetBlue is it's so quiet. Half the time you don't even know it's here, and I usually look out the window trying to see it take off, and I miss it half the time because I don't even know when it's leaving. It's so quiet.
No, and when we were here covering its first, I didn't even see it until it was almost on the runway.
Right.
I was like, oh hey, there it is.
There it is. So
very quiet.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Bud, thank you so much as always. A pleasure to talk with you and have you on the show, and we will catch up with you again sometime
Appreciate
soon.
it, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bud Brielt is the manager of Barnstable Municipal Airport.
A large painting project will begin next week. The Town of Barnstable Highway Division will be repainting the yellow center lines and white edge lines on all main roads throughout town beginning Monday, August 4th. Work will occur between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Residents should stay off the road lines until the paint has fully dried enough to drive on. That takes about 20 minutes. We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long newscast weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Natural Resource Officer Amy Croteau, Director of Leisure Services Patty Machado, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.